Hello guys, it's Casey back again here on the Astrology. I want to make this video about all this this Pluto energy with all the personal planets in Aquarius. Mercury hit Pluto today, and the Sun will peak exactly tomorrow. Mercury peaked exactly today. The Sun will peak exactly tomorrow with Pluto. And they're all in conjunction. And Venus is still technically hanging out as well, which peaked on, I believe that was Sunday. It was the 20th. Or maybe, no, that wasn't Sunday. That was Tuesday. Thought it was earlier than that, but no, I guess it was Tuesday. Yeah, early. Anyway, so let's just look at this this Mercury Pluto chart real quick. So you got Mercury and Pluto in conjunction in Aquarius, and whenever Mercury's in Aquarius, Aquarius is, operates kind of on this level anyway, but Mercury really knows how to like pull down the intel of Aquarius with some kind of telepathic osmosis to arrive at truth and major insight and flashes of insight and revelation, basically. And conjuncting Pluto, it's taking our mentality deep down into the underworld for it to be purified, to cleanse all its impurities. It's a filter. Pluto's a filter, and it's just like the kidneys, basically. And Mercury and Pluto, when they get together, you may notice that there could be some covert communications underneath the surface right now. Some things lurking in the shadows that are being talked about behind the scenes a bit. And it may, with the Sun there, it may just feel like we're living in that, which the Sun will peak its conjunction tomorrow, but it's still happening now. And that, we're regenerating our life force here with the Sun and Pluto. And not just our life force, but it also, since Aquarius rules the collective humanity, we're also basically regenerating the collective unit, the humanity at large, and we're regenerating our personal role at the same time as humanity coming together at large. We're all the full connection of this transformational process is major. It's huge, with the Sun and Mercury. And Mars will also be entering Aquarius tomorrow. It will conjunct Pluto right away, but it will peak on the 27th, which I'll talk about in just a bit. But something that also was happening today was Mars sextile Neptune at the 29th degree of Capricorn in Mars, and Neptune in Pisces, the 29th degree, the anaretic degree, the very last degree of the zodiac is Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees. And in sextile to Mercury, or Mars in sextile, really kind of gives us some clarity and discernment for our actions towards our spiritual inclinations. And that's kind of how I see that. Like with Neptune can be kind of elusive and deceptive, but with the sextile, I feel like we're getting clarity towards what actions we want to take with our spirituality. And with the 29th degree, it's also kind of showing us that how it's revealing how tired we are, and we're just sick and tired, and we're getting clarity in what we want to do. What it is that really, what things we're tapping into in the dream state, in our unconscious, also on a collective scale. And So we're dissolving away old actions, old passions, old ways of acting on things, and elevating them to a higher state with clarity and open, an open line of communication with the sextile. So this was kind of an interesting, powerful day today, and it's only going to get more powerful, as we go to the sun and Pluto here tomorrow, and that's where the full life force regeneration starts to peak and become exact here, and also our role in humanity as well as just regenerating humanity as one collective unit, because that's what Aquarius represents. So, the sun and Pluto, man, this is like the darkness and the light merging together to transform, to annihilate in everything in its path that no longer that is no longer serving us, and it's delving deep down into the shadow world, and it's purifying our consciousness and our character, our spirit, our very essence with the sun. And that is really, really highly potent and transformational energy here with Sun and Pluto. So, and then even as Mars shifts into Aquarius, we'll still kind of feel that sextile with Neptune. There at its very last days, really, and as it moves out and into Aries to finally settle there for the next 13, 14 years. Yeah, so. And then when you look, so Mars going into Aquarius and conjuncting Pluto it'll conjunct exact on the 27th, but it'll move in tomorrow. And yeah, that is really transforming our actions and our passions, our full-on drives and motivations, where we're ready to go. But we got to be careful. We got to be careful how we react, and instead of react, be more conscientious and respond. Seize things better. Don't be so impulsive, because you don't know what's lurking in the this with Mars and Pluto. I'd say in a sense, it almost brings up more dormant forces to the surface than the Sun and Pluto and Mercury and Pluto. Pluto is said to be the higher octave of Mars, and both are said to be associated with Scorpio. Although, I mainly use Mars as that I do think Scorpio has a connection to Pluto for sure, but because I stand by more of the traditional rulerships. But man, this is an intense week. It's an intense couple of days, and I think I'll make another video on Neptune and Aries and its chart in a couple of days. But yeah, just wanted to make this little video here on Pluto's little excursion, little exploration here, a little journey. If you want to, try to make it light and try to make light of it. This is definitely not light, going through these planets, but it can be highly invigorating as well. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Don't just take care, guys, but give care too. And I'll see you next time.